This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So what we were discussing in the last session, we were discussing about edit query builder, nothing but Power Query editor. So inside the Power Query editor, there are different kind of transformations available, and we were discussing remove columns, remove other columns. So these are the transformations we have discussed in the last session. Also advanced editor. So inside the advanced editor, you can see your query, the SQL, the Power IAM query. The IAM query, whatever your Power BI has written, that you can see under the advanced editor. And if you want to remove any columns, you can use a remove column transformation. If you want to remove other columns except for a particular column, you can use remove other columns over here. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open the Power BI desktop. Now I will try to connect to my data source again. Every day when I'm creating the report, I'm not saving that report. So today what I want to do, once I'm connecting to the data source and importing the data, I want to save this report into my computer. So how to save the report? Once you are saving this report, simple. If you are opening Excel, you are saving something inside, and finally we are going to save your Excel file. The Excel file will get an extension of .xlsx or xls based on the version. Similarly, your Power BI report also will get an extension .pbix when you are saving this report. Now what I want to do, simply I will connect to the data source. Instead of creating every time the data source, recently what are all the data sources you created, you can directly connect to the data source as well. Okay, these many data sources I created to SQL Server. You can reuse the data sources instead of going to get data, giving SQL Server, providing the server name, database name, all those things. You can reuse this one. So go to the recent sources, click on AdventureWorks DW 2017. So here you can see dim customer, dim date, dim geography, dim product, category, subcategory, and the fact table, factory internet sales table. So these are all the list of the tables I'm going to load over here. I don't want to load the data directly. I want to apply some transformations. Click on the transform data. So what kind of connectivity mode you want to use? Do you want to use import mode or direct query mode? I want to use the import mode only. So then click OK. So an advanced editor, Power Query editor has opened. If you want to apply any kind of transformation techniques, you can apply over here. Yesterday we have discussed about how to remove the columns and how to remove the other columns. Instead of removing a columns, you can choose the columns. Choose columns means what are the columns you want to keep inside this table? Just select that one. So simply go to choose columns, click on choose columns. Only the list of columns what do you want to keep inside this query, just simply select those columns. I want the customer key, geography key, first name, last name, middle name, and birth date and gender, okay, email address, yearly income. So these are enough. So then click OK. So it has selected only those columns whatever we have. So all other columns are removed, you can see. All other columns are removed over here. Okay, so what next? So once you are applying transformations on this, you can see that step is coming over here, and you can see under the advanced editor also it has written a M language. It has removed other columns and keeping the selected columns. Then close and apply, and then the data will be loaded now. So this report I am going to save. Perfect. So it has imported all the data, and I will create a simple visualization that is just displaying for the total sales amount. Take a card visualization, and from the factory sales table, sales amount field is there, just drag and drop. So simply what I will do, I will search for that field, just drag and drop on that. Sales amount is coming over here, right? 29.36 million. So what I'm going to do, I want to save this report. So how to save a report in this computer? See in the top you can see there is a save option. Click on save on the desktop. You can save this report. The report name I'm going to give it as a SQL MSBI Power BI report. The extension of this report is .pbix. .pbix stands for Power BI expression file. Save it. Okay. So this report I am going to close it. Close this. If you want to reopen that report, how to reopen? See here. The file whatever is saved, the extension of this file is pbix file. When you are asking someone, can you please send me pbix file? Of course, each pbix file have some name. That is nothing but your report name. So PBI stands for Power BI expression file. This file we are saving in our local computer with some name, and the extension of this report is .pbix. Okay, all right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open a new report. Means I'm going to create a new report to discuss a particular scenario. This time I want to take the data from Excel. Okay, for this Power BI desktop, the data will be in Excel. So I'm going to open an Excel file. I will enter some data inside the Excel. I will try to import the data into my Power BI. So how can we do that? So simply go to Office Excel and try to enter some data. I'm going to enter. So this is a company name is TCS, and this employee number, employee name, salary, whatever it is. Okay, I'm going to enter 100. This is how every day I'm getting the report. Ram, Vihan, Kirti. So salary is 1000, 2000, 3000. Okay, so this is the data. Oh, no. Employee name, seller. Then, so this data I want to load into my Power BI report. How can we load this data into Power BI report? First, save this Excel. I'm going to save this Excel EMP source in my computer and desktop only, and give the name as EMP dot EMP source. Done. Okay. The file name is EMP source. Just click this file and go to Power BI desktop. How to take the data from Excel? Go to the get data, take the Excel. So earlier we have imported the data from SQL Server. Today we are going to import the data from Excel. So how to extract the data from Excel file into Power BI? We will demonstrate. Select the EMP source, then click it. Select it. Sheet 1. In this sheet we have the data we are going to load. No, I don't want to load the data. Reason because the data whatever we are getting, it's not in a proper direction, proper way. See what are these null values are coming here. The TCS companies, something like it is coming. Column names are coming here. So there is no proper column names over here. There is no proper table structure over here. So I don't want to load. Definitely you need to clean up this data. So to clean up this data, what you need to do? Transform the data. Perfect. So one sheet you have imported, and then my expectation is I need a complete table structure needs to be loaded here. Only this part I want to keep. I want to make these column names. The first column names as here instead of column 3, column 4, column 5. All those things. Okay. Okay, I want to do some modifications in my file. In my Excel file, go to desktop, EMP source. The changes what I want to perform is the header part we are keeping over here, right? It should be here. Okay, so this is the change we are getting. Now save it, and I will enter one more record. 400. Why all numbers are coming? Ram, Vihan, Kitty, and Shyam. This is 4,000 something about. Save this one. So I did some modifications on my source file. Is that modifications are reflected over here? No, because you are not using a direct query mode. You are using a import mode. Again, you need to import the data. Importing the data means the query what it has prepared needs to be executed again. So how to do that one? See, there is a refresh preview. Just refresh preview. Then your query will execute. Then the 400 sham 4000 is coming, and there is a null values are coming over here. These null values are nothing but the difference in the sense your header and the data table. In between there are some null. These are coming as a nulls over here. So what we can do? I want to clean up this data. So first, what kind of action we have to take? The one action what I can do, I don't want these two columns. Okay. So tell me, what do you want me to do? I can remove these two columns. Where I can remove? Select those two columns remove columns. Yes, perfect. Now what I want to do, I need to remove these null values. How to remove these null values? Do we have any option to remove these null values?
Remove row.
One, remove rows. Okay. Which option I can use? Remove top rows, or
Yes.
remove bottom rows, or remove rows. Which one I can use? Let's say, for example, if I'm using remove top rows. Remove top rows means how many rows you want to remove. You need to specify over here. How many rows you want me to remove?
3.
How many rows I need to remove on the top? 3 rows. Perfect. Click OK. Now I want to promote this first row as a headers, top headers. So if you want to promote, see here, use first row as a headers option. Very good. So data is formatted. Then you can close and apply. Data will be loaded. Okay. So you removed top 3 rows. Am I right? The reason because the difference here, the gap between your logo, this TCS, in between this table, 3 rows are gap over here. Okay, 3 rows are gap over here. But in future, it might increase. For example, tomorrow they are sending like this. Now, what is the difference between 4 rows? Are you going to do again changing the here, removing top 4 rows or something like that? Are you going to mention changing over here every day, every time whenever you are refreshing? I don't know how many number of rows gap will come, but you are keeping it 3. Tomorrow it might 4, it might 5. How to make a solution generic? That is very important. I don't want to teach remove top rows means it's removing 3 rows. Remove bottom rows means it's removing the number how much you are giving. That is a basic level training. You have to think in the next level. The next level in the sense, the solution what you are giving should be in a generic. In any kind of circumstances, the solution needs to work automatically. So let's say, for example, if I'm trying to refresh the preview because I did a modifications on my source system. So just close this and save it. There is a gap between is 4. So try to preview. What happened? The 4th row is coming over here because you mentioned sorry, when you are going to the change type, it is not a failed. It got failed. Reason because see here. So this is your source, and you got this information. You can debug your query under the applied step by step. So this is the data you are getting. Then you have promoted and then change type. So you are performing the actions from here. Removing the columns. I remove 2 columns. Okay, that's fine. I don't require. And then after remove top rows. How many rows you removed? 3 rows only, but one more extra row is available. So the solution what you have given is not generic. What was happening when you are removing 3 rows? This null column is available over here. Then when you are promoting the headers, that null values are going to become a headers, not the employee number, employee name. You can go to the next step. See, the null values are making as a column names. Your employee number, employee name, salary still are in the data only. Then when the data type are going to change automatically, This employee number is a string, 100 is a number. So it is in confusion. So what is the solution you need to do? Go to the remove top rows. Here, okay, I will go back one by one. So change type, you can remove, and you can remove the promoted steps, and you can remove the top rows. Okay, so tell me how to make this generic. Simply what I want to do, I want to filter the column. On this column, if any values are null. So go over here and select this one, click OK. Now in future, if you are getting 5 more rows as null, 6 more rows as null, if anywhere there is a null value, it will filter out. Then you don't need to worry about how many number of rows you need to remove. Then you can promote the headers. So this is how we need to give the generic solution. Got it? Any question over here?
No.
Okay.
So, now you have filtered non-null values in E number, right?
Yes.
Loading the data, it will load only the non-null data into Power BI, or it will also load non-null, because we have not removed the rows, we have just filtered non-null rows from employee number table.
While it is going to get the data from your data source, it will try to stop the data. So while it is going to see what will happen, this ML query what we have will be converted into as per the query language what you are using in your source system.
Okay.
In your source system, it's a SQL actually. But here the language is. So once you are asking the question, can you guys please put in mute? Okay. So what I'm trying to say, the query inside your Power BI query editor is same language, but the data sources might be different. Regardless of the data source, the query what it is prepared is a M language. You can connect to Excel, SQL, Oracle, anything. But language here, the query to return is M language. So this M language will be converted into the source system as per the source, whatever the source you are using. This language will be converted. Then whatever the restricting the null values, the step what you written over here, it will be sent back to as per your SQL statement. The syntax will be prepared to filter out the data while it is pulling from your data source. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Thank you. One second. Okay. So that is the one kind of scenario you can overcome with the generic solution. Okay, so generally what is this option will do? Removing top rows means the number what you are going to specify, it will remove those number of rows, and removing the bottom rows means you are going to removing the number of rows from the bottom. Instead of from the top, it is going to remove from the bottom. I don't want you to do all this practically. You have to do. These are very simple. Removing alternate rows means it will try to remove the records alternatively. First, I want to start removing a row from the second row onwards. Okay, and the number of rows to remove from second row onwards. How many rows you want to remove? 3 rows I want to remove. Then the number of rows to keep. After that, how many rows you want to keep? 1 row I want to keep. I will try to explain in Excel. That's better, I think. Why? I can take this thing. So my requirement is I want to start the removing of the row from here. Second row onwards. How many rows you want to remove? 2 rows I want to remove. That means these 2 rows it will remove. Sorry. I want to remove 2 rows or 3 rows. I want to remove 3 rows. Okay. So you need to specify 3. And then after I want to keep 2 rows. I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to touch anything over here. 600 then. Okay, this is how it is going to delete. Again, 2 more rows it will remove. And again, 3 more rows. Three rows it will remove. As per our logic, I want to remove the 3 rows. Again, how many rows you want to keep? I want to keep 2 rows. So this is how it is going to perform the action. Got it? That you need to specify. How many rows, from where you want to start the deletion, how many rows you want to delete, 3 rows, and then after deleting 3 rows, how many rows you want to keep. This process will be repeatedly until the ending of your rows. It will try to delete all the rows over here. That is delete alternative rows. Alternative means it's not going to take each one by one. That you need to configure over here. How do you want to remove the number of rows? Then after removing duplicates. What do you mean by duplicate? Okay, I will enter some data over here. In Excel sheets, you are taking a sheet 1 and you are entering some data, right? Similarly, can we enter a data in Power BI? Yes. You can create a table by entering the data manually, because till now we were taking the data from data source system. From somewhere we are importing the data. Can I enter a data like a table structure? Yes. You can use that option, enter data option. See, click on enter data. You can enter the data how you are entering in Excel. Column 1, column 2, column 3. How many columns you want? 3 columns. Employee number, employee name, salary. Then data you can enter 100, 200, 300. Ram, Vihan, Sham. 1000, 2000, 3000. Okay. 100, Kirti, and 4000. All right. What is the table name you want to give? I will give this table name as the EMP table. Click OK. So the table will be created here. This is the table is coming. From where the data is coming for this table? It's not coming from the data source. It's a manually entered the data. And also it is preparing a query. See that query. Okay. Okay. Now tell me, did you find any duplicate data inside this table? Any duplicate data in this table? Please answer this question. Which one is a duplicate?
Employee number.
Employee number.
Employee number is a duplicate, but Ram is different and Kirti is different, right? It's not same. His salary is different and the employee is Ram. Here it is different and our salary also different. How can you tell this is a duplicate? So when someone is asking you, is there any duplicate? Immediately you have to ask the question. The question is duplicate in the sense, is it an employee number? Is it an employee name? Or is it in a salary? Or is it in a whole three values of the columns are repeating, then it's a duplicate? So what is the scope of the duplication? You have to ask the question. If employee number is repeating more than one time, that is a duplicate. Oh, of course, then you can tell 100 is repeating 2 times. If the employee number and employee name both are repeating same, then it's a duplicate. Okay, then you have to tell there is no duplicate. But as per business logic, in any company, 2 employees should not have same employee number. Correct? Should not have the same employee number. But here we have 2 persons, 2 employees having the same employee number. So it's a duplicate. I want to remove the duplicate. Okay, out of these 2, which one is a duplicated value? Which one you want to remove? Do you want to remove 2? No. It's actually 100 RAM. The 100 number of the employee is RAM actually. By mistakenly, Kirti entered this 100 as the employee number. It should be 400. So I want to remove this 100 Kirti. How can we do? So simply go to remove duplicates. Which row it will remove? Why it is not deleting? So when you are trying to remove the duplicate values, you are selecting the employee name column. So it is trying to check the duplicated value inside the employee name column. No, I don't have any duplicate values in the employee name column. The duplicate should be in the employee number. So select this employee number and removing the rows and remove duplicate values. Click on remove duplicate values. See, the 4th record has deleted over here. So this is how you need to specify the scope on what columns you want to try to remove the duplicates. If you want to see and set the duplication in the both 2 columns, then you need to select employee number and employee name while you are going to remove the duplicated value. You need to select both columns. Or if you want to remove the duplication on the entire 3 columns, employee number, employee name, salary, and all the 3 columns, if you want to remove, then you can select those three columns. Okay, all right. Next one is removing the blank rows. If you have any blank values inside a column, then if you want to remove that particular row, then you can remove it. Or if you want to remove any error rows. So sometimes when you are uploading the data, importing the data, some rows are coming like errors. So if you want to remove those kind of error rows, you can select that particular column and click on remove errors. In place of sham, it will come like a error. In place of Vihan, it is coming like a error. If you want to remove those two rows, then select the employee name column and remove the errors. It will remove. So keeping the rows is opposite to the removing the rows. How it is like a remove columns and choose columns. Choose columns and remove columns. See, when you are trying to select the list of columns, what do you want to keep? What do you want to remove? What do you want to keep? You are going to choose columns here means, it means you are trying to remove some other columns. You want some selected columns, then obviously you don't want other columns. Similarly, remove columns and keep top rows. For example, from the top I want to filter out and I want to keep top 10 rows. From the bottom 10 rows. Keep range of rows means, what is the meaning of keep range of rows? I want to keep from 5th row onwards 10 rows, I want to keep it. From the 5th row onwards, I want to keep the 10 rows over here. Okay, and keep duplicates. So instead of removing, see for example, I want to keep duplicates. Only those two duplicate records it is keeping. Keep errors. Only error rows if you want to filter, you can keep over here. So this is how we can do the operations on rows and columns. Anything if you want to filter or something like that. Use first row as a headers means promoting a first row into column headers. That option we have seen last time. Entering a data means any table or data manually if you want to enter and to create a table over here, you can click on the enter data option. Advanced editor is to view the query what a Power BI has written in M language. Applied steps are the transformation techniques what you are applying on this query over here. Okay. Okay, so if you want to save this report also, simply go over here, close and apply. So two tables data will be loaded into your Power BI desktop. See the data for two files. One is a sheet one, another one is a table you created, right? Yeah, this is the table, this is the sheet. So I'm going to save this report as well. Desktop 11/08/2020 practical. If I want to send someone this file, you can just mail it, save it. So file is saved, and I'm going to close this one. If you want to reopen, then again you can go to yeah, this one 11/08/2020 practical. Just double click on that, it will open the file. Okay, so your file is open. Do you want to design a simple report, total salary to display? So simply drag and drop the salary. $10,000 salary. Save your report. So this is how we are doing. Then simply go back again to your transformation page, edit queries. Any questions so far? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to send assignment documents for Power BI. There are so many assignments we have. I think around 100 assignments. I'm not sure. We have to do one by one. Based on the topics what we are covering here, then you need to start the assignments. Okay. And also for this Power BI, so hard copy of materials are available. Okay, so I will talk with you one-to-one about this hard copy materials, then we will see. Okay, all right. Any questions on today's session? So please start the practice. I hope all of you have the install the SQL server and this Power BI desktop, all those things, right? For example, if you want to share this Power BI report to any other users, as of now, they should have the Power BI desktop because they want to open this report in their computer, right? Definitely they should have. Power BI desktop. For example, if they don't have a SQL server, of course, no problem. You already imported the data, right? Then no need to worry about that. Or if you are facing any issues to install the SQL server and keeping the database, you can use the Excel file also. Just enter some sample data and try to practice. Some people having the operating system Windows 8, Windows 7. Of course, they can install the SQL Server 2012, right? They no need to wait. But to install the Power BI desktop, anyhow, you should have 10. Windows operating system 10 is required. There are only 4 to 5 important topics inside the Power Query editor. That means these are not important. But you should know, they don't ask any questions about this one. The interview point of view, we have 4 to 5 topics only. But you should be aware of all these things when you are doing in real-time scenarios. The important topics is appending and merging, and under the transform, under the add column, there is invoke custom function. These are the important topics actually. The rest of all are very, very small options. Do we really need to keep in mind this use first as a header? You don't need to keep in mind. Interview preparation is different. Real-time work, what we need to do is different. So we need to cover both as interview point of view. And so once the data discovery part completes, I will give you all interview questions. Once the data modeling part completes, I will give you all interview questions. Once this visualization completes, I will give you all interview questions. Then the sharing of the reports. Okay. All the 4 components we are covering in this training. Can someone tell what are the 4 different components in Power BI? What are the 4 different components available in Power BI?
Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View,
Not in
Power, sorry.
Not in Excel. I'm talking about Power BI. What are the 4?
Power BI desktop, Power BI online service, Power BI report server, Power BI mobile app.
Exactly. So the others, if you are feeling your voice is not good, then you can ping in the chat the answers. Okay. When I'm asking the answer, you can enter the answer in the GoToMeeting chat if you don't want to talk. If you are not talking here, then how are you going to talk in the interview? If you are feeling shy or something, or if you are telling wrong answer, no problem. First ping in the chat, then try to tell answers. Okay. This is also one kind of interview preparation when I'm asking the question. If you're not answering and sitting ideally, then there is no use, right?